Welcome to another 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. I hope you guys enjoyed last week. Two dudes talking feelings. If you hadn't checked it out, please go do it. It was a lot of fun and something I think is really, really, really important for folks to hear. As I have on the baseball shirt today, so that signifies sports metaphors coming your way. Here's the thing. When I was out with my dad at a baseball game recently, as we have done throughout my life, luckily for me, and we got to talking about analytics. And so, as everyone knows, big White Sox fan, they have a catcher who has been doing a phenomenal job at a lot of things. One of the things that he hasn't been doing a great job at is his batting average. So my father is old school, right? I wouldn't say he's like a metric hater. He just doesn't put like much weight in it. And if he does look at a metric, because batting average is still a metric, so he does believe in data. It's a little bit dated to just look at batting average and say that's the collective of a hitter, right? Same thing with pitchers. If you look at the win-loss record in baseball and say that's what makes a great pitcher, you're really missing a lot of what pitchers do and a lot of data that can suggest that pitchers are better than their win-loss records. So the debate starts like this, Hey, son, you got to bench your catcher. He's terrible. Which immediately elicits a reaction in me that is like, come on, man, what are you talking about? And I start going through all the data sets in my head that I'm aware of where this catcher is excelling both offensively and defensively. And so I turned to him and I said, Dad, he's got an on-base percentage over 400. He's going to set probably a Major League Baseball record for on-base percentages for catchers in a year. His walk rate is 3-1 his strikeout rate. And I went on for a few more and I said his framing rate as a catcher is like top 5 in the league. And for those of you who don't know, framing rate is basically when a catcher accepts a pitch, how they put it against their body, how they accept that pitch, they frame it within the strike zone. It's a freaking art, man. And it's being tracked now. It wasn't being tracked maybe even 5 years ago, really, right? So frame rate, how they do it, where they go about their business. He's phenomenal. He's freaking phenomenal. Plus, he gets big hits, got RBIs, his weighted on base. Again, secondary, primary analytics. The only primary analytic that does not support him doing a good job is that of a batting average. Well, if my father were running the team based on batting average, he would bench him. He would be done with it. That is an unfortunate way of looking at things. However, as it relates into our business, those of you waiting for the sports metaphor to make it into the car business, that is this moment. It's the way we look at BDCs, right? We look at a BDC or a BDC agent within that. If we just say that, let's break it down as we're looking at players. Let's look at a BDC agent, and we say that BDC agent makes a decent number of appointments, an okay number show, but none sell. That's it. They don't sell enough of the cars that show up. Somehow, the BDC rep in that data set is held responsible for those results. Okay, I don't really understand how that works. I get that it can be a primer and a setup. I do get all of that. But as far as, tying it to production of the BDC agent, the sole metric seems to be a little bit odd. But what we're not looking at, similar to the discussion with Dad, who might be just looking at sold rate, aka batting average, and saying, well, that's that and that's that, we're not looking enough at contact rate, right? So you look at metrics and data around people. Let's just say it's people taking ups. Are you looking at the number of ups as a whole number that they are taking? And do you know of those ups, how many make it to the next steps? I bet you do. But if you look at your BDC, do you know all the number of leads they're dealing with from phone, chat, email, DR, etc., right? Taking that whole amount and being able to tie that forward. I think that's the biggest part. So I look at contact rate. How many leads did you get? How many people did we talk to of that list? That's been the biggest kind of difference maker for me looking at data. So, and as we talk about data, there's been a real big debate recently about owning your data and other people. Folks, I don't care if it's Google Analytics, I don't care if it's marketing data, internet data, if you work with an outside BDC, I do not care. You need to own every piece of data available in your data sphere, okay? I don't care where it is. You need to find it. So what I would say, as everyone kind of talks and debates, what metrics do I look at? How do we standardize metrics across the business? How does everyone look at it? I go back to the baseball piece. I tell you that if you're just looking at, in our case, let's look at Google Analytics. If you're just looking at bounce rate and the number of new users, right, and time on site, you might be missing a bigger picture if you don't have conversion analytics set up so that you can see the journey of the customer, so you can see what benchmarks they hit, who influences deals. How many times do you look at just conversion and forget to look at assisted conversion, right? Assisted conversion, much like that of my friends at on base plus slugging, okay? That's the on base percentage plus 1 slugging percentage, gives you a total number and gives you a picture of who hits for power and gets on base. That is what that metric shows. Assisted conversions can be that. They can combine things. I would also caution you, lastly, against the word vanity. All metrics are vanity, right? At the end of the day, I think. Because they're all just numbers if you don't have a way to interpret, aka, or present, right? So vanity metrics, blah, 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 don't care. My point is that make sure you're having a primary data set and a secondary data set that you're comfortable with, and keep it basic. Because I'm guaranteeing you, people who have like the engaged metric, right? They have the algorithm that will tell you based on this data point. If you look at all those data points on your own, plus your own conversion data, I know myself personally, I can come probably 9 times out of 10 to identify the exact same users as algorithms can if you just look at the data. So pick what data is important to you, right? And then consider all of the data that goes into it, all right? Don't just be stuck in batting average, all right? Enough sports metaphors. Go out, enjoy your week. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you again next week.